everybody, Kat here. So today I want to talk about how to pick your college or university. So it's kind of a big, oh, there's my little puppy. I didn't notice she was behind me. Actually, fondly enough, she is one of the reasons why I picked the college I did. Here are just some things what I considered when I was picking out my university. So I considered how far away from home I was. So honestly, I never really cared how far I was because I love my mom. I love my little puppy. I like being close to home, and honestly, I applied to a university that is maybe 5 minutes walking distance, and I was thinking about commuting, but if I went there, but I ended up wouldn't, because then it's like I feel like I was gonna miss out on, I was gonna miss out on some of that. So yeah, it's kind of expensive, but also I don't know, it's a lot to weigh. So one of the things with that university is that I'm so close and I would want to room there. It's definitely something you have to consider because I know that I would want to dorm there, but the fact that I would want to, and my mom and I discussed it, if I went there, we would have me dorm there. But $11,000 is a lot to dorm to a place that is 5 minutes walking distance. That's a lot. Thinking about how far away from home. So I've been accepted to places outside of the state, but honestly, I love where I am right now. I love the weather. I love it here. I love being close to my family. I don't know. I have a preference staying in state, kind of. I don't really care, but now that I have options, I would rather stay in state, because then you get to pay in-state tuition, and it's so much better than paying out of state. The second thing I considered was probably their engineering programs. So as you guys probably know by this point, I am going into engineering, which is going to be crazy. So I kind of was just getting the feel for a lot of the universities by just going to a lot of the banquets that they hold. That helps a lot. You can figure out who got accepted, what type of people they're looking for. If you fit in with those types of people, it helps a lot. And I was basing a little bit of my my feel for the college overall to how their engineering would be, if that makes sense. So if they admitted, I don't know, I applied to several, I think, or two liberal arts colleges with engineering as a side product. I didn't find it as helpful, and I didn't like it as much because they're known for liberal arts, and that's where all their attention would go, and I just feel their engineering might not have been as strong. Your types of people, I guess, as I was going into, that kind of matters. I mean, you're gonna have a great college experience no matter what, so it just kind of depends on what types of people you want to be around, I guess. So I applied to this other engineering school in state that's amazing, don't get me wrong, it's definitely one of the best engineering schools, but it's known to be to have that party scene going on, and the fact that they don't have, I know this sounds really pompous, but they don't have separate dorms for just the engineers, which I would need and I would because that's where all the serious people are, and that university, their business majors are known to party and do lots of illegal stuff, and I don't want to be involved in that. I'm the very quiet and studious, and I'm happy in the library by myself or with one other person. I'm very low-key and very introverted, and so I found that engineering school probably wouldn't be good for me because of the amount of students. It's a huge state school, and just the types of people it kind of attracts. It's a good school. I'm not cutting on it at all. I just don't think it would be right for me. Another tip is don't let people pressure you. Don't let, if you have a family legacy at the university but you don't want to go there, don't get pressured into it, because it's being happy is really important when you're being studious, if that makes sense. You're already going to be really stressed in college, so, and being under a lot of stress isn't necessarily fun, isn't really a happy time. So if you can put yourself in an environment where you're as happy as possible, that's good. Even if you do have to break it to your parents, just is. For a long time, I didn't hear from my school that I kind of really wanted to go to, so I just assumed I didn't get in, and so yeah, that kind of yeah, my mom was a little sad, and yeah, I was a little sad, but because a lot of my two of my cousins went to this college that I'm going to, or university that I'm going to, So kind of keeping it in the family, was kind of cool, but it also wasn't an expectation. Go where your heart wants to go. Another tip I have is before applying to a college or university, talk with your parents to see if you can afford it. Like, I know that sounds really weird, I guess, or if they'd be willing to, help pay for it, or I'm really lucky because I have a mom who's, who has helped me save up, so, and, I'm an only child, except for her. She's my sister. Another great reason to stay in state for my dog. She's the best. Are you the best? Yeah. She's smart. She knows I'm talking to her. This guy in my grade, he got into Brown. That's amazing. He ended up can't going because of the financial issue. That's awful. He got into Brown and then he can't, go to it because he might not have had the talk with his parents. Hey, if I do get in, what happens with our financials? Will you help me out? What will we do to be able to battle the whole issue of college finances? So, yeah, it's an expensive school, but, that's just, one example that I have. And it's just, really sad that he didn't have the talk, I guess, with the parents. So, you should do that. Have a talk with your parents to see, figure out the financial, have a pure business talk and just kind of figure that out so nothing like that happens to you guys. Because that's really sad and that's heartbreaking. Another thing that I did that helped me figure out what I wanted to do, people say that the moment they walk onto campus, that's when they know. And I think to some extent that's true. I walked onto the School of Mines, which is where I'm going, and I walked onto that campus and I didn't hear back from them yet, so I kind of refused myself to fall in love with the place because I didn't hear from them, and so that's just not good having a list of your top choices and not top choices. I tried straying away from it because that's a dangerous area. Don't do that. But I'll go into that after. But I walked on the campus. I kind of refused myself to fall in love with it. But I saw my options. I liked the place. I'm okay, this is really nice. But I also went to the other university and kind of just did the same thing. I did that with every university or college that I visited. Go in with an open mind, but don't go in falling in love with it, I guess. Unless you know you're accepted, then I guess do what you want. But I both of those colleges, I didn't fall in love with when I was on campus, but I went back to Mines, so that was kind of when I knew I could fit in with the people. I love the people who were accepted. They're very serious, academic, really outgoing, a lot more outgoing than engineers are put out to be. they help each other out, and they don't because it's a whole engineering school, they don't have this pompous idea that they have to prove to each other that they're smarter. They would all go get help from one another and they'll help each other out, and I really liked that. I'm sick of people trying to prove their intelligence. I'm so done with it. I don't feel the need for it, and especially in engineering, there's no need for it. You're obviously motivated enough to be an engineer. Just help each other out, and sometimes I don't see that. So being able to School Mines really helped me decide what I wanted to do. And then my last tip is don't make a list of top choices and not top choices unless you hear back. That is just that's setting yourself up for heartbreak. Unless you they're all safety schools and they're not too much of a reach, I guess you can go for it, but even then I still think it's not a safe idea to do, because I saw one of my friends, their two of my friends actually, one of them was, their top college was Stanford, and they were they really want, they're going for these top schools, nobody gets into these schools, and so they were a little pompous about it, which is even worse, but they were pompous about it, so they were telling everyone they were gonna go to Stanford, even that's their top choice, and everyone knew, but then she didn't get accepted. And so getting that rejection is literally the worst, especially if you know that it's your top choice, that's disappointment. But if everyone knows, that's even worse. So and then my other friend, two of my friends applied to MIT. One of them got in and one of them didn't. So that's really bad. So be careful about telling friends, I guess, where you apply, because that might happen and things might get awkward and just I'm so happy for you, but yikes, my feel, just be careful about that too. So those are just a couple examples of like, don't set yourself up for that heartbreak. What I ended up doing was I applied all early action, basically all early action, which tip for college, you guys should do that because then you won't be completely stressed by the time regular decision comes around. So I don't know, I found it kind of as a safety net to do that because if I didn't get in for some reason to any of my early action places, I could still apply for regular decision. Whereas if I so I front loaded all of them rather than if I did regular decision for all of them and like didn't get into any of them, that would be a nightmare. Plus, early action gives you more time to think about where you want to go. There are just so many like perks about early action. But until you hear, like at least what I did, until I heard from the colleges and got an acceptance letter, that's when I started building my list of like top colleges, maybe not. So that's just what I ended up doing. I know people say don't do this, but make a pros and cons list. Like, it's so basic, just kind of do it. I didn't have to. A lot of students, I feel like, don't have to because when you go on campus, you kind of know. You get this feeling. I don't know why this happens, and I was really reluctant to the whole, like, oh, when you go on to step onto that campus, you know. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. It's scary. Like, you just feel something clicks, something's right. Like, I don't know. So, I think you have to base a lot on your heart and what you feel, which I usually don't do. I don't have feelings usually, but this is one of the things where you have to let your heart kind of decide what to do. My brain was telling me some things, but then once my heart and my mind agreed on going to Mines, it's like that's kind of when you know. When your heart feels, when you're on campus and your heart feels like it's right, and then you do your pros and cons list, and then that secures it in your mind. I also went to Santa Clara. I visited there in California. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it at all. I felt like I was walking around, not a university, just kind of walking, not even a campus. I don't know what I felt. I just kind of felt like I was walking downtown or something. Like, I didn't get this feeling, I didn't get this bond with the place that I felt with Mines. So that's just kind of, you have to go on that. And I knew when I didn't feel it, like, I knew it wasn't right. So, I don't know, those are just kind of some tips. Hopefully they ended up helping you a little bit. That's just kind of my experience since I just finished with the figuring out where I'm going. So hopefully that helped. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and comment if any of these helped you or if you guys ended up using any of these suggestions or tips. Comment if I forgot anything. Comment if you guys ended up using something else that helped a little bit. So, I should talk about. Also, one thing I did not look at is ranking. So, I don't care about ranking, it's just where your heart wants to go a little bit. So, don't be too caught up on the ranking, also. And don't forget to subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks, bye!